I think we are good. I think we are live. If you're here joining me live, do let me know. Put a hello in the comments. This is my first time going live, so all a bit new. So thank you so much for joining me here. Firstly, guys, I just want to say a huge thank you. We are celebrating over 20,000 of you tuning in, subscribing. I really can't even wrap my head around it. We started this channel in January. This was something that was a real passion project, wanting to share this wealth of knowledge I have around money mindset, manifestation, like all of the inner work that I know works when it comes to living your most financially free, abundant, wealthy life. So your response, your support to this message, to this channel has just been so incredible. And I'm so grateful for that. Let me just double check that everything is set up. Chat away. So, okay. Do we have... I see Jasper in the chat. Can you check if you can write in the chat and just make sure that it's working? Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. I have my Jamie here. So the purpose of this was to really just connect with my amazing community like yourself and to answer some questions, the same questions that I get time and time again in the comments, which I do find some of them quite funny. Some of them are definitely worth a bit of a story. But as I'm waiting to hear some of your questions, if you have anything that you want to find out, if you have any questions that you want to know, please do let me know. Drop them in the comments down below. We're just going to double check that the comments are live. Thank you, Lisa. The chat is working. Okay, good to know. As I said, my first live on YouTube, so this is very exciting. So this is okay. I'm going to start with a question that I get constantly from a very certain demographic of the community, which is, are you AI? As you can see, unless AI has advanced incredibly well, no, I'm definitely not AI, very much a real human being. This is always such an interesting question for me. I think people may think it's a compliment of some sort. I find it so bizarre to be confused for artificial intelligence. I don't know. What do you think? Like, would you take that as a compliment? How would you respond? Or what would your thoughts be if someone was like constantly asking if you're AI? For me, I find it very bizarre. I still don't believe you. Thank you. Yes, AI is just that advanced. So the only editing that we do to the videos once they're done is changing the contrast a little bit, adjusting some of the lighting. We live in a very sunny country, so the lighting can fluctuate throughout the day. So that's kind of it. That's the only real editing that we do to it. Some small little tweaks, really nothing adjusting my face or anything like that. Although I know that may be what some people do, but I try and keep it as real and natural as possible, because I also host events and I host retreats, and I would hate for anyone to come to a retreat and be like, wait, who are you? You don't look like your videos. So we keep it as similar and as simple as possible. And so I do appreciate the comments. So thank you, Mohammed. Yes, being called AI must be a compliment for perfection. Well, I do appreciate the comment if that's the intention, but I do find it very strange, the comments on my looks. It's definitely never been something that I've led with in my life. I've always been very studious, very academic, very ambitious when it came to building my career, building my business. So talking about looks and all of that, I find very strange. Let's just say that. And I'm definitely here to provide value, right? And to provide information and knowledge that I know not only has been life-changing for me, but has worked for so many of my clients around the world. We really are a global organization, a global business. So what I share, works. But thank you, I suppose. So now we've covered off the are you AI. I think we can finally put that question to bed. So, okay. Thank you, Mohammed. I will let my editor know that you think there's perfection in the video editing. So the next question I get a lot is, and I've just seen it come through here from Magnolia, is what about your net worth? I get a lot of questions are you a millionaire? A lot of questions around what my own financial situation is, which I understand the question given that I talk so much about money and wealth. The short answer is no, I am not a millionaire. The longer answer is yes, I could have been, should have been if things were slightly different. I currently have a 6-figure portfolio. It's growing. If I don't contribute to it again, it will certainly make me a millionaire. But when I was making a lot of money in London in my 20s, so like mid 20s, 25, 26, making a lot of money for someone very, very young, I fell into a lot of the same pitfalls, right? I came from a south of Ireland, didn't grow up around a lot of money. And so when I finally came into a lot of money and I was living in London, I thought, well, this is what rich people do, which is head over to Bond Street and go to all the big designer stores like the Louis Vuitton and Chanel and Prada and all of these things. And I definitely enjoyed this newfound wealth for myself. And I was also mixing with a lot of very wealthy people. I thought that was what we did, right? That's what you needed to do. So I spent a lot of my money displaying that I had money, which is very counter to everything I now teach. So a lot of the lessons, a lot of the videos that I teach on this channel, on my other finance channel at The Witch of Wall Street, is really all about highlighting the mistakes that I have made in my own life and sharing with you the knowledge, the wisdom I wish someone had been putting into my own head at the time, so that I could have learned and I could have saved and invested that money much earlier on than having to go through the process of learning it the hard way. And, and I say this in my videos as well, which is the ultra wealthy people that I used to network with, and I will share a little bit about the journey of how that ended up being the case. But a lot of the ultra wealthy, very high net worth individuals, they weren't the ones displaying their wealth. They weren't the ones wearing the flashy clothes, the labels. And after a while, I realized it was actually quite cringy to be covered in labels. So it was a learning lesson. And so all of that is very much behind me, and I prefer to put my money to work. The other aspect, and I was saying this to my partner as well, about why I'm not that, multi-millionaire status, which it definitely could be by now, is that at 30, I left my very successful, high-paying job in London to pursue my passion, which is starting this business. Now, it certainly wasn't the Witch of Wall Street when I first started. There has been multiple iterations of it. It started with the passion to balance out the boardroom. It then evolved into business coaching and different things as different clients were asking me for support with different aspects. And of course, when I started my business was back in 2020. And initially, as a speaker, it was going to be live events. It was going to be connecting, networking, bringing people together. And of course, what happened in 2020, we all know COVID hit. So I literally left my big job, high-paying job, with everyone criticizing me, questioning me, thinking I was crazy, and said, no, I believe in this vision. I believe in this mission. Started my business. COVID hit, everything shut down, could not literally leave the house. And so it was very tough at the start to actually get the business off the ground, start getting people aware of who I was and what I could offer. So my income took a really big hit from the start, just to be very frank about it. And there was probably about 24 months where my business was just a very expensive hobby. I was making a little bit of income, but certainly nothing to even cover my expenses. I think I was not even breaking even with hiring the coaches I was hiring and paying for all the platforms, as you may know if you're in business yourself. So it took a while to catch back up, but my motivation for starting this business was never financial, because if my motivation was financial, I would have stayed back in my corporate life. I had been offered a great opportunity in private equity right before starting this business. And so if money was the driving factor for me, that's where I would have stayed. I would have just chased that. But I knew there was something bigger. And I always believe when you pursue what you're passionate about, when you pursue what you truly deeply believe in, and you believe in the impact it can make, then the money will follow. It will take care of itself, right? Because it is a reflection of the service you provide. I thought if I can create enough value, if I can impact enough people, the money side will be taken care of, because money does matter. And it's ignorant of anyone to say it doesn't, right? We all need to pay bills. We all need to survive, to feed ourselves, to take care of our family, and to be able to live life as we desire. And certainly money is a big, big part of that. It's why I love talking about money so much. And the other aspect of that is, if I hadn't been investing, if I hadn't been taking care of my finances, there is no way I would be here today as the founder of the Witch of Wall Street, being able to deliver so much free content online, to be able to deliver, free videos multiple times a week, every other week, depending on which channel you're on, because those investments and those savings I had enabled me to sustain both myself, living in a very expensive city like London, and to sustain my business when it was not paying me anything for a very, very long time. So when I talk about investing, when I talk about the importance of money, it's not just something I know logically, it's something I've lived through. And I'm like, it is so paramount to be really in control of it, to feel confident with it. So if I had the advice today, if I had been able to give myself the advice that I share with you today, back when I was 27, 28, I would easily be a multimillionaire by now, easily. But I didn't have that guidance. I didn't have someone in my ear telling me the smart financial decisions to make. I had to figure it all out myself and really learn a lot by mistake and by failure, and by also seeking out different mentors and coaches. I've easily invested over 100 grand into my own personal development, working with different teachers and experts over the years. So my key focus with the business today is really to empower my community, because having worked in the financial industry as well, I see there's such a focus on financial advisors using jargon, using manipulative language to confuse people to think that they can't be in control of their own finances, or they can't be in control of their own investments. And it's a real tragedy when I see it, because absolutely you can, and it is a lot more inexpensive for you to do it yourself. And so part of my mission is to really empower you to take back control of your finances, to manage your own investments, not for me to do, but to empower you with education, with understanding, so that you can take control of your financial future. So that's a big part of what we do. So yes, today I live a much more modest lifestyle, but it's not modest in the sense of lack or limitation, or I'm depriving myself. It's modest in the sense of it is much more in alignment with my values, right? What I value today, how I was spending my money back in my mid-20s was very much in alignment with the values of what I thought other people would think of me. So today we spend our money on a very soul-led basis on what really brings us joy. Travel is a big part of that. Spending time with family. My partner's from New Zealand, so we were over on the other side of the world over Christmas to spend time with them. That was a really big outgoing trip, a big expensive trip, but that's something that very much aligns with our values. Now, dropping a lot of money on a new Chanel bag, less so, right? So it's about really spending in alignment with your values. And I would really encourage you to check in for you as well, because especially in the social media age, it's very, very easy to get caught up with what we think we should be doing, or where we should be living, or what we should be driving or dressing as or wearing, and all this stuff. So we definitely don't need to flex to show our wealth. We need to invest to build wealth. So let me just check in with some of the comments here. So who do we have? So Coach Zara, binge watching your content, and I love that you're teaching, so thank you. Or I love what you're teaching, so thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Like, these comments really mean the world to me. I do go through all of them. Obviously, as our channel has grown, there is more and more comments, so it takes a little bit longer for me to get back to everyone. So where do we have Mr. Morning? Your favorite money book? Well, I would be silly not to mention Made of Money. This is actually my book that I wrote, which is about master your money, conquer the market, and rule your world. It's available on Amazon. It is everything I wish I knew about investing. I make it really, really simple to literally go through step by step what you need. If you are new to this world of finance and you're not in a position to join me in one of my programs, and you want to just take it on your own to go through something, this is an amazing place to start. It really is everything that you will need to know to get started. So definitely go check that out. But some of my other favorite money books, well, the second one I have here is Money and the Law of Attraction. And I don't have these here because I didn't think this would be a question or anything, but these are the ones that I always have at my side as reference, because again, everything we do in The Witch of Wall Street is strategy and spirituality, right? So bringing both worlds together, and actually these two books probably are the perfect representation of that. As much as strategy is so key, and yes, it is absolutely fundamental, right? You need to know how to manage your money properly with the accounts to open. You need to know how to invest your money so it works for you. You're beating inflation, your money is growing, you're building wealth, or you're getting out of those cycles that consumerism can have us trapped in, credit card cycles, all those things. Strategy is absolutely key. Psychology is paramount, because if you don't have the right mindset, the strategy won't stick. So I'm very much big on both, which is, I'm going to delve into it in a minute, but it's why I say The Witch of Wall Street. Not that I'm practicing voodoo or anything like that. The witchiness is the mindset, to be very, very clear. And so let me see. Hi, Laura. I'm here to thank you for your informative videos. Hi, JH Ronnie. Thank you for being here. So can you tell me something more about a quantum leap? I just finished the video. So quantum leap is this really, really cool concept where it's all about collapsing timelines, right? There's a great book called U Squared. It's a really short book, but it really delves into this concept again, where you can literally collapse the timeline between where you are and where you want to be. Now, the key thing to be aware of is there is always going to be a gap. There is a gap for every single person watching right now. There is a gap for me between where I am and where I want to be. It doesn't mean that where we are isn't amazing and that there's so much to be grateful for, and that at one point in time, this is the reality that we were dreaming of. But our soul is for growth and expansion, right? We are always going to want more. We are going to want to express ourselves more, expand more, be able to bring more to the world, impact more. Our soul is meant to want more. It's meant to expand. It's constantly meant to be growing. That's how nature works. So this idea of quantum leap, closing the gap between where you are and the next level of where you want to be, just like you're going through different levels in a game, right? We look at the game of life, like Florence Shin would talk about. So a fantastic way to really quantum leap, to collapse that timeline, is very simply acting as if, right? Act as if. Now, very, very simple to intellectualize that, a little bit more challenging sometimes to embody it. So that's why a lot of our videos talk about this. It's a big part of the coaching that we do too in our private programs. But it's really about closing the gap between where you are and where you want to be by acting as if. So some simple questions to think about are, well, what would the version of me who already lives that life, what would they be thinking? What would they be doing? How would they be feeling on a daily basis? How do they spend their time? Who do they surround themselves with? How do they spend their money? What media do they consume? And an example that comes to mind of this when you bring it up is, I remember, must have been back in 2021, I had an opportunity to speak on a big stage. I had just started my public speaking career. I had just done a training, and the mentor, the teacher of the public speaking course, came up to me and said, I'd love you to speak at an event. It is in 7 days' time. It is in front of over 1,000 people. Will you be ready? Now, everything in me and the current version of me at the time was like, no, this is terrifying. I'm not ready. I'm not prepared. I don't have enough experience. That's too short of a time. And this is what I asked myself. Okay, that may all be true, but what do I want to be in life? And one of the things I had written on my vision board was to be an international speaker, actually an international award-winning speaker, right? I wanted to use my voice for change, use my voice for impact. And so I asked myself in that moment, and I'll always remember after getting that call thinking, okay, if that's who you want to become, that's the version of you, what would she say to this opportunity? Obviously, yes. Because if I am already an international award-winning speaker and I get invited to speak on a stage to over 1,000 people, that is an easy yes. So what did I do? I said yes. I turned up at the event, nerves and all, got on stage, delivered, got a standing ovation, and never looked back. And it changed so much the trajectory of my life, being able to impact people in a live forum, speak on stage, get that type of reaction was such a driving force for me, especially in those early days when business was more difficult to really take off. And I was still stumbling through the weeds and figuring it all out. And it was one of the best decisions I made. So ask yourself, what does the future version of me, what would they do in this moment? And then do that. It's a great way to really close that gap. Now, another question I get a lot is, where is your accent from? And I got a mix of guesses on this. I'm wondering, can you guess? So I'd love to see in the comments, where do you think my accent is from? So we'll see what comes through, and then I will share. Oh, we actually have some of the questions. Where are you from? Aussie, Australia, really? Okay, Ireland, Australia, Ireland, Irish, Ireland. Okay. French, interesting. UK. All right, we got quite a mix of ones. The ones I often get the most is American, which I find really interesting. But no, absolutely, I'm from Cork. I am from Cork in Ireland, so the south of Ireland, a place called Cork, just like the top of a wine bottle, that. So that is where born and bred and grew up and spent the better part of, I guess, 20 odd years before I moved to start my career in finance. So no, not New Zealand, that is my partner, German, Scottish, Cork by, yes. So if you've ever been to Cork in the south of Ireland, it's not really pronounced Cork, it's pronounced Cork. So there we go. So if we have anyone here who's ever been to Ireland, do let me know. Okay, so what else comes up quite often? Another question I see, or not even a question, it's more of a statement from people, where it's like, manifesting is BS, it's all fantasy, right? Like you're just talking out of your ass kind of thing. Interesting comments to be made on a channel that's about mindset. I don't know what brings people with that mindset to my channel, but it's a valid question from someone who doesn't get it. And I know at one point in my life, there was probably a part of me that would have thought, no, all of this stuff sounds too good to be true, right? Surely we can't actually create our own reality. Isn't it just up to chance? Look, the family you come from, where you were born, if you got lucky in life or not, whether you got dealt the lottery card, as they would say. And it's not true. And it's not just something that I have learned and studied deeply, but it's something I have lived and breathed, and I can share from a place of honesty and truth, because I have the examples in my own life, and I've seen it play out in the lives of many of my students all around the world. So I first came across the idea of manifestation back when I was 19, right? So I'm in my 30s now, so I've been at this for quite a while. And I just became fascinated by the idea that I can use my mind to create my reality. And this was a concept, especially growing up in Cork in Ireland at that time. Everyone did think I was crazy. My sisters included thought I was absolutely nuts, that something was wrong. I had joined some kind of like manifestation cult because I was thinking differently. And so a lot of people now have changed their mentality. This is a bit more mainstream, but I became obsessed with this idea that I could use my own mind to create my reality. And I started to create some really awesome things, like big amounts of money to flow in, the ideal, kind of partner I wanted at the time, my ideal car, the dog, like all these little things that at 19 were just so exciting for me. And then my Nana, who was my best friend, like she was just the most incredible woman. She was mother to 11 children, one of which my mom. Just an incredible woman, so strong, so loving, so empowering. She passed away when I was 20. And the whole idea of our soul is infinite and it expands beyond our body, our physical body, I just wasn't at a point of emotional maturity to deal with that. And I found it very hard to bridge those two worlds of dealing with intense grief at the loss of my Nana, who I loved so dearly, and then learning about manifestation. So I closed my witchy books, closed my books on manifestation, and I refocused back on just living in normal worlds, studied finance at university, got a great job at a big accounting firm, a big four firm in Dublin, and just focused on becoming a chartered accountant. And it wasn't until the end of that 8-year period that my mind began to open up again to manifestation, right? It's so interesting. It's like when you are ready, your teacher will appear, right? The lessons will appear, the opportunities will appear. And so I came across a man named Bob Proctor on a platform called Instagram, which was super new at the time. And I remember downloading it and seeing that he was live streaming an event out of Canada. And so for 3 days, I stayed up until, God, 4 a.m. or whatever the time difference was, tuning in, just absolutely devouring everything he had to teach. I was totally obsessed. I became so awakened again to this truth. And it was something that I didn't almost even need to hear him validate. It's like when you hear something so often, it just hits you and you just think it's just truth. You can't even explain it. You just know it resonates with every cell in your body that this is a truth. My body knows this to be true already. And so I took a massive bet on myself. And again, how many times my family must have thought I was crazy? Definitely the odd one out. I took out a loan because he was hosting this amazing, intimate, intensive event in Toronto. And it was called The Matrix. And I just thought, Bob Proctor is someone that I need to learn from. And I remember having the call with his sales guy, and he said it's 15 grand to come over. As a newbie chartered accountant, I can't even remember making 30 grand maybe, like weren't paid very well, but given great opportunities in the firm. And I thought, I cannot pay this. I was like, I don't even have a credit card limit that goes beyond €1,000. Like there's no way I can do this. And I remember the sales guy saying, can you ask your family for help? And I literally laughed at him on the phone. I said, are you crazy? Going to my parents to say, hey, can I have 15K to go do this event? Like, no, my parents gave me so much love, so much support. They are amazing, but I definitely wasn't given a trust fund or a check or, a big lump sum of money to get started in life. And I didn't need it because we can do these things for ourselves. And actually, it was very self-empowering to go on the journey of figuring it out myself. But I ended up getting approved for a loan. 2 weeks later, I'm on my way to Toronto, and it absolutely transformed my life. Now, Bob Proctor, of course, isn't the only mentor that I've had over the years. I've gone to every Tony Robbins event. I've had my parents walking on fire multiple times. I flew them to Florida to take part in Date with Destiny just before my dad retired, to really support them with that next big chapter in life. He's also been a really big influence in my teachings because even though he brings everything under the umbrella of business strategy, it's very much mindset. It is very much manifestation. So I've learned from many different mentors, many different coaches over the years. And what I bring to you in this channel, within my programs, is really the best of everything that I've learned. And after trialing everything, really the best of what I know actually works. And so what I always say is, I'll give you multiple options of things to try, but then you have to try it on and see how it fits for you in your life with where you are at right now. Because what works for you today may not work for you in a year. Maybe you might need a slightly different tactic or strategy. And that's why I often give multiple different options to try. So and that is really what led me down this road of teaching about manifestation, because it has transformed my life. From things like manifesting to speak on Forbes. And that came out of an intention, a desire, and a willingness to say, I want to do this. Wasn't paid. It wasn't one of those things where you paid to speak on stage. It was an invitation to go speak there. So I've had some really incredible opportunities, including sitting down to interview Bob Proctor. Again, that was another big one. I manifested to become one of the top employees in my firm, one of the biggest salaries, biggest bonuses, which obviously as a 20-something-year-old was very exciting. If only I had the Witch of Wall Street guidance in my ear, maybe I could have done better with that money, but we live and learn. So let me just check in. Another question. This is an interesting one because my partner is sitting right here, which is, are you married? Do you have a partner? And then I saw a little debate happening of someone criticizing, I can't believe you have a partner and you're not married. There he is. This is my New Zealander. He's the one with the New Zealand accent.
Do that.
So this is my lovely partner who I love very much. We are not married. When we first met, though, it was definitely a conversation. I said, I'm very traditional, grew up in Ireland. My intention was, of course, we'll get married and then we'll do the family thing and all that stuff. But we've done everything slightly backwards and I wouldn't change it for the world. Marriage is definitely on the table for us. Not because we feel like we have to. It's a desire to have another element of commitment together, and also to bring our families together. Our families are all over the world. His family's split between Australia and New Zealand. Mine's all across Europe. So we decided when we do get married, we want to do it right? We don't want to do an event where only half of the people that we want to be there can make it. So we want to get it to a financial position where we can throw the most incredible event, a credible celebration, and really take care of everybody coming to a wedding. Because having been to weddings myself, I am very aware of the financial burden it can be on people. And I certainly don't want family members feeling financially stressed or burdened in order to come and celebrate in really what is a very selfish celebration, which is a celebration of two people's love. And so we said, it's on the cards. We know what will happen at some point, but let's just prioritize, And so instead of falling into the trap of feeling pressured, like this is what we should do, we were very honest with each other and said, right now, for where we're at with the money that we have, we would rather put our money back into the business, grow our business, invest our money in building our family. Like that is a much bigger priority for us than investing our time and our money into a wedding at this time. And so, yes, growing a family, starting a family is definitely definitely something that we are prioritizing. Growing our business, growing our impact, reaching more people. Like this is all part of our mission. This is what's very aligned for us. And marriage will come, and the wedding will be an amazing celebration, and our families will get to meet, and it'll be done the right way on the terms that we want. So I hope that clarifies up that. Yes, you can see him in the chat. There we go. So explaining Thanks, everything. Guys. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. And so what other questions are we also getting asked quite a lot? Oh, why do you only teach women? This is a list of questions. Why do you only teach women? Are you sexist? Do you hate men? Do you hate women? So I get the whole array of questions coming at me. So let me just clarify this very simply. The reason my mission is so integrated with women, well, let me first say, of course, I don't hate men. I have an amazing man here next to me. My father is an amazing man. I have a 7-year-old stepson who I adore. No, men have been, my grandfather was incredible. I don't have any brothers, all sisters. But, men, I have none, I love men, right? So awesome, no hate towards men here. The reason I am so passionate about supporting women is because of why I started this business. And it all stemmed back in about 2016. I had started my career in London. I was sitting inside a Women in Finance event at Bloomberg, and it was the first type of that event I had ever been to, right? I didn't know why I was at a Women in Finance event. I had grown up with an incredible grandmother, as I mentioned, a very strong mother, although both of them never had the opportunity to work outside of the household as soon as they had kids. It was a different time in Ireland. And so I always just believed I could do anything that I wanted to do, right? You can manifest what you want, create the reality you want. And so I always remember sitting in the room. Yes, no, men can definitely be here. This channel is for everyone, so just bear with me and let me explain. But I remember sitting in this hall in Bloomberg and hearing that it will take 120 years to close the gender gap. And for me, even though I was only 25, 26, I had this desire to one day have a daughter. It's just something I can't explain why. I just always had this desire, always had this intention, and knowing that one day I would have a daughter. And I thought, how could I ever look my daughter in the eyes and say, yes, darling, you can be anything that you want to be in the world, knowing that this actually makes me emotional, but knowing that all these hurdles still existed. And so in that moment, I decided, let me be part of the change. Let me not be someone who just sits there and complains about it. Let me be part of the change. Now, honestly, I had no idea what I was going to do. Who was I to change anything in the big system? But I started to work with what I had, right? I knew I had, amazing teachings from the likes of Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, things that I had learned that enabled me to fast track my career in finance, climb the corporate ladder, take on board positions at 26, 27, like so young. But really leading these big projects, these big financial projects across the world. So I knew what was possible. But I knew that we had to not play victim to these statistics, because what I began to see was that it's very easy to become part of an echo chamber where you sit around and you all just complain about the same thing and nothing changes. And so I wanted to be part of the change. I wanted to not put the focus on, oh, whoa, women, look at all these gender inequality statistics, and rather shift the conversation and say, okay, this exists. This is a fact, but let's not re-manifest more of it, right? So where focus goes, intention flows and energy flows. So I didn't want to put more energy on the thing I wanted to, debunk and dismantle. I said, let's focus on more empowerment, self-empowerment. What can we each individually do to change our own reality? Because we can still manifest on our own reality. I was a living example of that in finance. And so that is really what started this whole chain of reaction, which became what it is today, the Witch of Wall Street, although it certainly didn't start as the Witch of Wall Street, as I mentioned earlier. And so my passion has always been rooted in supporting women, because, having worked in finance for so many years, as always the only woman in the boardroom, I've never wanted to be like, oh, poor me. But I've also known that, look, just factually, there are barriers that exist, and there are barriers that exist for men, and there's barriers for class and race and religion and gender and all of it, right? So you can look everywhere and you'll see a barrier somehow. But I wanted to be part of the conversation where women who wanted to change, who wanted to create a new reality for themselves, felt that they had a support system that was welcoming to them. Because a lot of the systems, like if it is very male dominated, no offense guys, but it can be a little bit overwhelming, right? It can feel a little bit like I don't belong here. And it's just different, right? We all respond differently to different communities. So as we've grown this channel and as we've grown this community, of course, we have men and women from all over the world, literally so international. And I am so grateful for each and every single one of you. But I certainly don't hate men. I certainly don't hate women, which some women have commented on my videos when I'm very blunt with my, what would I say? When I'm very blunt with how I talk, of to say, no, I don't believe let's play victim. I don't believe in blaming the patriarchy or blaming anything else. Take self-responsibility for your own life. There's still so much we can individually do, right? When we take ownership, because yes, you can play victim all day and maybe you're right to do so, but that will not change your life. That will keep you in victimhood and keep you in the reality that you don't want. And so I don't want you to be there. And so sometimes I might deliver these truths that might come across a little bit harsh, but I think I'd rather be that for you in your life and wake you up to that reality and shake you out of victimhood so that you can create your own transformation and you can experience the change that you desire and deserve, rather than be someone who sugarcoats everything for you and say, yeah, you're right, just keep blaming them and feel sorry for yourself and stay in this pit of not living the life that you are able for, that you are capable of, that you were deserving of. So that's probably how I would answer that. Should I add anything else? So that is I don't hate men, I don't hate women. Like, everyone is so welcome here. This is why this channel is free and open. I love having everyone here, just to be very clear. But that is the kind of the founding story of why the Witch of Wall Street exists. So we had a comment here from Michael P. Most women are not interested in finance topics in general. I think that can change through education. So I think this is, there's a couple of ways that we can look at it. I don't know if it's exactly that women aren't interested in finance topics. I think it's just the way it's being delivered. It has felt like it's not really for women as such, which again is such a big part of why I wanted to create this business. I've shared a little bit about my own story. If I hadn't gotten financially savvy, and if I hadn't gotten smart with managing my money, with investing my money, investing the bonuses that I was making, and have that money there, I wouldn't be doing this business today. And this is something that I love. It's changed my life. It's changed and transformed so many people's lives through what we share and what we provide. And I'm very grateful for where I am today, but it wouldn't have been possible without the financial education to support me through those big life changes, big career changes, from big finance career to starting a business at the brink of COVID, like crazy, crazy times. So financial education, more than anything else, is so key. And that's why I'm so excited when I see women jump into these spaces and they're engaged and they're asking questions and they're learning and they're so keen to learn. And my experience has been, once you create the environment where women feel safe and supported and like they're not going to be judged or made feel shameful or criticized or made feel stupid, which is another one, like, why would you ask such a question? That they're supported. Like, ask any question. I'm always an open book. Like, any question you think might be stupid, like, I love those questions even more. So my experience has been, when you create that kind of environment, women thrive. They're amazing investors. They're like on the ball to take care of their finances. I have so many women that I work with that actually are managing the household finances that their partner doesn't want to take care of. They're busy or whatever the case may be. So, you know, environment is everything, and how we deliver how we deliver stuff is everything. So that's really, really key for me. So thank you for bringing that up. What else? I get asked this as well, like, what are you selling? So obviously on these channels, everything is free. I love this about YouTube. We can connect. I can share some of the most amazing value in the teachings that I've had over the years and that I know really make a big impact for free and reach an incredible global audience. I have to keep saying that because we really are so global at this point. But I also offer incredible programs for those who want more support, because everything on these channels, of course, is general, right? I don't know your specific situation. We haven't got to talk one-to-one. So I create these really beautiful communities and different programs to help give more bespoke support and insights and education for people who want that. So we have our Investor in You. It's our online self-paced investing program for anyone who wants to discover how to manage their finances, start investing, do it on their own terms. I have an incredible community called The Collective. It's a wealth community where we talk about investing. We have guest experts coming in, but we do a lot of mindset work, nervous system regulation. It's a new community, again, really, really powerful. But I turn up once a week live. We have a live messaging community. And then we have the Shift Mastermind, which is my most intensive program, which is a 12-week program. You're with me one-to-one every single week. We have private messaging app, so we're back and forth throughout the day. You can ask me any questions, get any support that you need. And again, all of these different programs, different levels of support to support people wherever they're at and whatever stage they're at, where they want that next level. Now, the mastermind is for women specifically, just to be very clear. But our other programs, like if you want to learn about investing, personal finance, like amazing opportunity for you to go and do that there as well. Again, the reason I keep the mastermind for women is for what I've explained a while ago. Community matters, environment matters, and my experience has been, if I can bring women together in a very intimate community, this is where I see them thrive, and they feel so confident and more empowered when it comes to learning about investing, learning about taking charge of their finances, and the transformations are really, really powerful in there. So I do keep that really, what are you doing? Philosopher. So I do keep that really bespoke for women. Again, not that I hate men, it's just that is what feels most aligned for me in delivering that type of program. But they're all there. And you also, you know, if you want to support the channel and you just want to be part of the journey, we have a membership. I think it's, what is it, like $2 a month or something? $2.99 a month. You can buy me a coffee a month if you like the channel, like what we do. You can always support that way. But again, you can also just consume this content for free and be here and comment and engage, and that is awesome as well. So no pressure in, but just to let you know, those programs exist. That level of support does exist if you want to go deeper into any work. Love, is there anything else that I need to?
Just the comments down below.
Oh, okay.
Some shout outs.
Some shout outs. Where are we? So Mohammed, with AI rapidly reshaping industries, replacing traditional jobs, how should individuals rethink wealth allocation today to stay ahead and make their money work in the new economy? So great question. Look, a big thing when I am teaching investing, I love talking about ETFs, index funds, broad exposure funds. And the beautiful thing about this is that when it comes to an investing point of view, if AI replaces every single company that we know to be in existence today, you're still going to get exposure to them. You're still getting access to the growth and the returns from investing in those companies if they're listed on the different exchanges around the world. So that's always a really great way Inside my collective, I also have experts coming in to talk to us more about Web3, what's happening in crypto. I'm not a crypto expert by any means. I'm definitely traditional finance, but I love this space and I'm really interested in it and I'm really excited about it. So I want to bring people in who are experts on it to share that wisdom with my community. But in terms of any changes that are going to happen, I would always go back to the basic foundations. And we say the basic, but it's actually, they are the fundamentals, which is, do you have your personal finances in check? Like, do you have your emergency fund set up? Do you have your debt paid down? You're definitely not living on a high interest rate credit card debt for sure, right? So make sure your debt is managed. And do you have your investments in place that are low risk, broad exposure, and going to give you an opportunity to take a piece of the pie no matter what companies are ruling the land? So that is how I would definitely be looking at investing. And then depending on your asset allocation, depending on your risk profile, looking at investing 5 to 10% in things like maybe gold is something that's really interesting for you. We just had an incredible speaker into the collective who was the global head of investor relations at the World Gold Council. So she was talking to us about the opportunities with gold. But again, to see the real benefit of that, all the experts within the gold space even say the max you're looking at is 5 to 10% of your portfolio. Same is true with crypto. I know a lot of people have different views on that, but again, amazing opportunities. But I like to look at it maybe 5 to 10% of my portfolio. That is how I would be looking at my wealth allocation, staying ahead. Another big thing is income protection, right? So once you have all your finances in place, come back to really understanding, okay, am I working, like if you're employed by a company, am I working in a job that could be replaced tomorrow by AI? And if so, how can I upskill? Do I need to learn how to use that software or whatever it might be so I can actually stay ahead, stay employable? So really looking at income protection. All wealthy people have multiple sources of income. Investing is one source of income as well. So when you become an investor, you can add that into your mix, but not just relying on a single job from an employer, especially if you feel like your job could be replaced. So if that's you, don't panic, get prepared, take action, start to educate yourself, start to think about how can I upskill? How can I prepare myself? How can I protect my income as I'm being smart and savvy with my finances? Like if I was let go tomorrow, if my income was cut off for any reason, and we look at the same thing in our business, like we had a big massive blackout here, all the electricity was gone, I couldn't get onto my business. I was like, right, if this was to sustain for 3 months, are we good? Do we still have money even if we can't make a dime? Right, so you need to make sure that your finances are taken care of. So I hope that helps. Let me see, Mr. Rohan Vibes. Hello, welcome to the channel. Glad that you're here. Christian Tari, have you tried day trading? No, I am not a big fan of it. So from everything that I've looked at, it can be very exciting and you can get incredible wins and you can also get just astronomical losses. But don't take my word for it. As I am the Witch of Wall Street, of course, I'm sure you've heard of the Wolf of Wall Street, so Jordan Belfort. And babe, can you just check? There's a book up on there, actually, Jordan Belfort's book. If you can find it. Jordan Belfort wrote a second book. Can you see it?
What's it called?
What's the name of his most recent book? Jordan Belfort book. The recent one.
Yeah. Oh,
The Wolf of Investing. Yeah. We had our couch pushed back. Somebody was doing yoga in the living room this morning. Thank you. Okay, so this book, The Wolf of Investing, by Jordan Belfort, he opens the book explaining that his brother-in-law was trying to do day trading, right? Was trying to do all those different gimmicks with his money and ended up in massive financial ruin. So even him, he goes against it and he says it's not the strategy, it's not the approach to take. So if you're somebody who's into day trading, get educated, get informed, maybe take a look at this book and just see the alternatives as well and the risks involved. I don't go near it. I don't talk about it. I don't promote it. I certainly don't teach it. Wolfgang, do you have Bitcoin? I'm somehow disgusted by it. Okay, then we have another one from the Tofrat, and your icon is a Bitcoin, so I'm guessing you were a fan of crypto. So when it comes to Bitcoin and all that, besides just having the basic asset allocation, I'm certainly not the expert. I'm definitely learning as much as I can about crypto. But I have, again, experts come into my community who are specialists in this field. Just as I'm the expert in what I teach, I don't want to try and pretend to be an expert in something that I'm not, right? It's just not worth it. You're not going to give value. You're just going to end up in trouble. So I bring experts in who can actually share the most recent and latest advice and insight and investment opportunities there. So I let them really talk on that. But if someday it's something that I'm like, all right, let me go all in and immerse myself and learn everything I need to know about it so I can teach others, then perhaps I will, and I will bring that to the channel. But for now, I rather leave that to the experts who come into my communities and do so. So let me see, how did you develop your public speaking skills? Thank you. So it was probably a mixture of things. My mom was a performer growing up, so she was on stage back in Cork. So I'm one of 3 girls. So she had us all in performing arts as kids. So speaking, being on stage, just was something that we were all very familiar with, comfortable with. Also, there is a bit of a joke. If you're from Cork, there is something called the Blarney Stone. And if you kiss it, it gives you the gift of the gab, so the gift of the chat. So maybe being from Cork has helped a little bit. But I did do some public speaking training, which is probably more to credit for it. And it's more public speaking for on big stages, stadiums, which is definitely something on my vision board, to be able to be invited to bigger events and to speak on bigger platforms to impact more people, reach more people, right? I think our voice has such power for change. So when I do get those opportunities, you'll be the first to know. Come see them. Come join the event. If it's in your country, if it's in your part of the world, it's definitely something I look forward to. So the Nazar El Adrisi. So how can I set myself up for wealth in my 20s? I'm 16 years old right now. Firstly, kudos to you for being 16 and for being even wealth conscious enough to ask this question. I think that's incredible. I would say check out my other channel, The Witch of Wall Street. I share a lot of insight and information on there about how to set yourself up financially. Now, the key things again, and you're only going to be 16, so it depends where you're at, right? Maybe you're just making a little bit of income at this side. So that would probably be my first step as a teenager, is to, how can I start making a little side income, something online, figure out what your expertise is, what your expertise could be, what you're interested in, any skills you can develop, and start seeing how you can bring in some income, and then be smart about it. Save a little bit of it, invest a little bit of it. And really the big thing for you right now is financial education and financial foundation that will stand the test of time as you move into your 20s and your 30s. So the best of luck with it. I love that you are taking action with that at such a young age. It's definitely something that I'd be saying to my partner about, all right, we gotta get the kids on this one. Shout out to Nick and Amy. It's so lovely to have you watching. I know you are friends of my man here. It's so lovely to have you here. What else do we have? Social gigsters. So what about being Supernatural by Joe Dispenza? I presume you mean, what do I think about the book? Look, in general, Joe Dispenza, one of the things I really love about his teachings is it's very science-backed. Now, as much as I would say I'm into the woo in the sense of, I love studying mindset, I love studying psychology and manifestation and understanding more and more about how our subconscious mind really creates the world around us. Like, we really do have the power to recreate our reality to be more in alignment with what we desire truly. So what I love about him is that he does take this really scientific approach, which I also take in my studies, in my teachings, because I know personally, if you tell me to visualize, meditate, practice affirmations, sit there and do my tapping or my breath work, okay, fine. But if you can tell me why I'm doing this, and I can understand that at a logical level too, then for me, the embodiment of those practices is so much more powerful. So everything I teach I have an incredible manifestation program called the Create System. So CREATE, it's a 6-part system. Every single part of that is backed by science, because faith-based on understanding is so much more powerful and long-lasting than just hoping and wishing, which I don't subscribe to. I would never say, hey, write down your goal and then just cross your fingers and hope it's going to happen. It just doesn't work that way for most people. They'll give up after a week when they don't see anything happen, right? Motivation doesn't last. Education does. Information and understanding why is what really stands the test of time. So big fan of Joe. Bob Proctor, it's another reason I really loved his study or his trainings too, is really understanding why we're doing stuff. So always ask yourself, like, why would I meditate? Like, am I just sitting here in quiet for the fun of it? Like, why am I visualizing? Right? So go back to the science of it. And for me, when I understood the science of how things go from a spiritual realm, all right, there's 3 different realms, and I go from the spiritual realm down to our physical realm, our reality, what we can interpret with our 5 senses. When I understood what is actually happening when we are like so-called manifesting or creating, then it was a complete game changer. It wasn't a case of, I hope my goal comes true. I hope I meet the right guy. I hope I manifest this incredible business. I hope I manifest an opportunity. It's not. It's, I know the process of how to manifest, and I know it's coming. Now, there's no stress. It's like you're waiting on your Amazon delivery. You're not checking it every 5 seconds, stressing about it. You know it's coming. It will be delivered, and it will be delivered in divine timing too. And so the science is a big, big, big part of it. Love, is there anything else you can help me call out? I know we've had quite an active chat, which is amazing. So thank you everyone for being here live. We still have 47 of you live. That's so awesome. I feel like my cheeks have gotten so hot. Oh my goodness, I'm getting very warm. So let me see. Thank you, Philosophizer. Happy for you guys. Handsome man. Yes, he is. I agree. I know. Very lucky to have met him. Yes, so either me or him manifested each other, or we both manifested one another. I think of that as well. With everything I do, it's not just a one-sided manifestation. Like, you manifested me, but I manifested you. Like, if we're in a community together, there was like some kind of synchronization happening. There was something that synced up, and we manifest each other. Even especially so with people that come into my programs, I'm like, there's a reason you're here, and there's a reason you're here right now with the other people in this program too. Because maybe it won't be coming from me, but there'll be something that you need right now that someone here will say. And maybe it's someone in the comments has said something or has asked a question that will click. So I want to find out as well from you, did you enjoy this Q&A? Have you enjoyed it? I can't believe we're coming up on an hour. I definitely can keep talking. You can imagine the challenge of keeping our videos to like under 20 minutes. Fun times for our editor. So yeah, let me know in the comments, did you think this was a fun way to communicate? Would you like to see more Q&As? I personally really enjoyed it. It's great to connect live with so many of you. So if you would love to see more of these and love to have more interaction, then please let me know. I'd love to do more of these and connect with you live and hear your questions outside of just the comments on videos. So yes, I like it. Yes, definitely enjoyed it. Awesome. Well, I've had the best time connecting with you. We'll definitely look at doing more Q&As live again. And if I can ask you as well, since we are here live, in terms of the videos that we create, what would you love to see more of? Is it like we do tapping videos? I know we have had meditations go out, visualizations, guided ones. We talk on so many different topics across mindset and manifestation. Like, is there anything right now that you're specifically would love to see on our channel? Topics you would love to see? Any new insights? Any questions that you'd love to have answered in a more in-depth video? So do let us know. We are obviously very community-led here. So the more you share with me, the more we can make this really tailored for our amazing community. Guys, you are our first 20,000 followers. I will never get over that feeling. Just so, so grateful for each and every one of you here. Like genuinely, this is, I don't know if you can see my cheeks have gone so red. Guys make me blush. No, but I'm really, really so grateful for every single one of you being here and supporting our channel and supporting what we're doing. And it is a real honor to be able to give back value and to serve you. And so do let me know what you love, what you want to see more of, and we will do our absolute best to support in delivering the best content we can to support you with that. Oh, right. I just realized. Okay, my computer was almost going to die. Okay. So to everyone watching, if you've enjoyed the Q&A, if you enjoy what we're doing on the channel, like do me a massive favor, be sure you're subscribed, stay engaged, share this channel with friends, with people that you know that you think would get a lot of benefit from this. Being part of helping us spread this message and spreading this mission is so massively appreciated. And I have so much gratitude for you being here and for you helping us to spread this impact as well. And for anybody that wants to delve deeper into the strategy of things, do remember as well, I have a second channel called The Witch of Wall Street. It should come up on YouTube if you even just search my name, where we delve into a lot more things around the practical sides of, all right, now that you've manifested money, you're making more money, what are you doing with that? How are you managing it? How are you making it work for you? Because you shouldn't be just working for money. You should allow money to work for you too. So 1 million followers, easy, fantastic. Thank you for the encouragement and belief. Thank you so much. Your energy brought us here. Here's to the rich life. Okay, so mindset shift techniques, financial literacy tips. Lisa, definitely go check out the other channel like after this if you want to get more financial literacy tips. We do a lot there. But definitely for the mindset shift techniques, this is a perfect place for that. Coach Zara, so glad that you were part of our first 20,000 as well. So grateful that you were here. What do we have? More on the Proctor techniques. Oh my goodness, I could start a whole channel for that. I have all my original study notes from back in 2015. Love, I don't know if you can grab that photo up on the bookshelf. Actually, that could be quite fun to show. So this is younger Laura. We really need to move the couch back out, sorry. Thank you, love. So this is back in, where are we? 2015, when I was over to meet Bob Proctor, the wizard himself, an amazing mentor. So I have all my original study notes and everything from that time. So I'll definitely can bring more of what I've learned. Catherine, this morning I brushed my teeth with my non-dominant hand for the first time. It definitely works. This simple practice has definitely scrambled the brain first thing in the morning. Another thing to add to your morning practice, super, super easy. Look at yourself in the mirror 20 times, say, I love you. Really allow those words sink in. It gets straight to your subconscious mind. It can really shift your day. And it's a beautiful practice to really just fill up your own cup first, because if you were someone with so much self-love, you were able to give more love to others. If we don't give love to ourselves, we can't give it to anybody else. So Mongsil, this is actually our first live stream, so I'm glad it's gone really well. This has been really exciting. So more ask for Bob Proctor. Okay, we'll definitely take note of that. Coach Zara, so please more meditation. I've been using the 11-minute guided daily. I'm so glad you enjoy that. The identity shift transformation meditations are so powerful, like living into that reality. What we spoke about earlier, doing the quantum shift, super powerful. Yes, we'll definitely do more. All right, I think that's it. I suppose we'll wrap up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. More techniques on bending time. Absolutely. Yes, all of that. The quantum shift, the collapsing the timeline. Hello to those of you new to the channel. You are so welcome. We are still just getting started. There's so much we are going to do here. So yes, look, in the other videos, on the other, when you're commenting, always share what you're looking for, what you want support with, what you want to see more of. As you can see now, I am very much real. I am not AI. I'm definitely here to support and to serve as best I can. So the more I hear from you, the more you tell me what you're looking for, the better. So we'll send a big love heart to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. I definitely hope to do more of these live Q&As as well. This has been so much fun. So thank you, each of you, for joining. It's been so much fun, genuinely. We have a live investing workshop. I actually just want to remind you of next Tuesday. Love, maybe you can drop the link to that as well in the comments. So for anybody that wants to learn more about investing, I'm doing a live workshop called How to Invest Your First $1,000. It's completely free to attend. Come take notes, implement what I share. You can always come join any of our programs, of course, as a result of that, but it's a free live event. We're going to be sharing a lot more on the strategy side of it, which when you link with everything that we're talking about here on the mindset side, here we can drop, I'll put the link here, register here. When you link that with the mindset side, it's super powerful. That's why everything we do at the Witch of Wall Street is both. It's not one or the other, it's always both. Without the other is just doing you a massive disservice, right? We bring both together. We show you how to shift your relationship with money, think differently about money, relate differently to money, and then we show you what to do with it, right? So you get both. All right. Loving these comments about the non-dominant hands in the morning. This is awesome. Okay, well, look, there's a link. If you have any questions, I know you can always comment under our post. I think we posted about the live workshop too, love, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So there's a post up about the live workshop as well. So you can go check that out. But we've gone over an hour. This is amazing. I could keep going, but we will let you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here, guys. 20,000 still so amazing. Still so grateful for each and every single one of you that has tuned in, subscribed, part of this mission, as part of supporting us and what we're doing. Really, really appreciate it. So until our next live Q&A, I will see you soon. Keep enjoying the videos and have a beautiful weekend ahead.